Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfszeit channel. Today with the very special topic magic balance and spell balance in general. And especially with the new elementalism spells who have different damage types. For example, you have the blunt damage type and the fire damage type and stuff like this. And this can also impact balance a lot. But it's not only the damage types, it's also the balance in general, of course, like always. As you maybe have guessed, I mean, if you just ask your friends who are also playing Mortal Online, some will say, for example, if you're playing a Thurzar, just a Thurzar, normal fighter, whatever, some of them are very pissed about mages. And the other way around, mages are a little bit pissed about the Vela fighters, of course, because that is the counter. Then the Vela fighters are a little bit pissed about the Thurzars because they are better in 1 versus 1, but the Velas can kite and stuff like that. But everyone of all the characters has benefits and has also some problems. And that is normal and that is okay. And the main discussions that are coming up all the time is like nerfing the fireballs, nerfing that spell, nerf that spell, buff that spell, do that stuff. And yeah, it's not so easy sometimes. If, for example, we would have now blunt arrow tips, for example, then maybe the archer is the new meta. Because a blunt arrow tip arrow does more damage because the most armors are against slashing and piercing and not blunt, for example. And then you're using blunt arrow tips on your fucking bow. Then this will change the balance of the game a lot. And if you're taking a fucking fireball and make it 10 damage more, then yeah, you could also break the balance a lot. And there's the same with if you're nerfing, for example, healing. If you're nerfing healing by, I don't know, 20%, then the whole dynamic in a fight will change. And everyone will pick the new meta build, meta gaming, whatever stuff comes to your mind. But this would be fucking sad. And this is why we need proper balance. And this is why Star Wars is not changing stuff fast, and they will not change a few values very fast just to break the whole balance of the game and then fix it later again, like they did in Mortal Online 1. They will not do that, and that's very good. The interesting thing is Henrik always talks about the data. For example, yeah, we have so many people that are using that axis, we have so many people that are using pole swords, we have so many people that are using that or that or that or that or that, and the main thing is, if you have these numbers, then please make them public. Would be fucking awesome, by the way. But let's hear Henrik's statement to all that balancing spells stuff and also some smaller changes before it's turning into a 10-minute rant video from me again.
There's mixed types of damage here, right? A lot of the elementalism damage have physical damage as well as a baseline, and then additional part of that can be cold damage or heat damage or stuff like that. So a lot of these big things are blunt damage, which means you do resist that damage with armor also, right? Will you be adjusting fireball damage mitigation? It does way too much damage. We're not currently tweaking those numbers. We have been collecting a lot of data and a lot of spread data and feedback so far. So, you know, we don't want to rush to changes that doesn't really align with the bigger picture, right? As you can see here, fireball needs a buff. One is riding already. So, you know, there's obviously a huge mix of what people think on the different spells. And I understand it can be tricky to think that there's more views on spells than your own personal ones. That's obviously how it is, right? And we try to look at the main picture. If know how frequent are people using the fireballs, how effective are they, what are the feedback we're getting, and are they the super meta in the battlefield currently? No, they're not. There are circumstances when you see fireballs flying and it's super cool and they can be powerful, but they can also obviously be easier avoidable, right? So it's completely different balance compared to ecumenical spells, for instance. So we have the first group of spells in game, and so far the main feedback is that there's quite a few spells that are effective, good and fun, and then some of them are not as effective, underperforming pretty much. So you're quite wrong in your statement. It's actually the opposite. So I don't know how you reach that conclusion, but you know, looking in the community and the players that uses them and that feedback and what are useful, that is always a challenge, right? We're very careful making sure there's nothing OP when we add the spells. It's much better to have them underperforming rather than overpowered, as you can understand. And then slowly over time we can tweak those spells to be more effective over time. Fireball is one of the few spells that people think is useful to use, and still quite easy to avoid them, but there's very good use for Fireball. So people absolutely don't think it's busted biscuit in the oven. I mean, you can see it in every single battle, YouTube battles, streams, that you can see Fireballs being used in right circumstances, right? A few of them. They're not at all as spammed as Thunder Dash or, you know, those types of spells. So busted means it's overpowered. Yeah, I know. And they're not overpowered if we ask the community. That's what I'm trying to explain. Is some of the few spells that are actually used every now and then, but you don't... when something is overpowered, it completely takes over the game, right? And everyone uses that meta. That haven't happened. You see Fireballs in the right circumstances, right? But only those circumstances. They're quite slow, you see them a far distance, and you avoid them like this very easily. If you're in a crowded area and you see it coming, then yeah, it can be obviously a good damage, right? We're talking about the top tier guilds in the game, and obviously they make use of all metas, and Fireball is not the meta to go to in all circumstances. Channels like forums, Discord and so on, and on streams here, but that doesn't always mean that is, you know, 100% accurate. You know, there can be a few people or a few groups that think one way, and then there are some other groups that obviously think something else, right? Just look at when people are grading the tiers, the guilds on these tiers that some people are doing. Everyone is mad at each other because they don't agree, right? And they say, holy shit, you're so clueless, you're placing them S tier when they should be D, and so on. It's quite entertaining, but that shows that people are very different in their view and opinions, right? And the exact same goes when it comes to balance in a game like this. So the game will never be perfectly balanced because it's impossible, because depending who you ask, it's gonna be a different response every time, right? So again, that responsibility goes on us, right? If we can see that no one is ever using a Fireball because it's underperforming, that means it's usually, you know, bad. That means we can buff it. If we see everyone is only shooting Fireballs, nothing else, that usually tells us it's very powerful, maybe even OP, and everyone is agreeing, yes, it's OP. Then it may be too strong, right? If we see 1 to 2 to 3 Fireballs every now and then, like in one big battle, you may see a few of them every now and then, you know, as expected, that means that, you know, there's use for it. But obviously it's not the only spell to go to, right? And that's where we want to be. We want to have options for a lot of different players and different circumstances, and, you know, depending on where you are in the game.
So please leave your opinion about all that in the comments, would be fucking awesome. Maybe we can get an overview of what seems to be OP, what seems not to be OP, or maybe many people will discuss something, or many will write that this is OP, and one other is saying no, this needs a buff. Then we know we are right. If a lot of people don't agree with each other, then we know it's perfect. When someone is saying we need to buff the swords, and someone is saying we need to nerf the swords, then the swords are in the perfect manner, I guess. The problem is, of course, we need a lot of people, so this will not happen, maybe. Maybe StarWorld will implement the vote system or something like that, would be fucking awesome. Maybe even an in-game vote system where they have, in, I don't know, in the main cities, some character, and you have to vote there with your character and stuff like that. It would be fucking awesome. Anyway, please leave a like and subscribe, would be fucking awesome. And please ring the bell. So special thanks to all the supporters, of course: Carmel, Professor Lukario, Love of Gaming, The Spice Gentleman, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Cologne, Bulldog, you, and all the others, of course. And always remember to make diverse damage hard stuff. Party hard. See you all next time. Goodbye.